So gaming has become a super serial topic these days, and people are confused about whether it is a hobby, a career, or just a complete waste of time. But as a tech channel, we want you to be passionate about gaming and believe in yourself. So today we are going to check out the BenQ Zowie XL2546K, and I think that it is one of the best gaming monitors for high-level competitive gaming, because even though we have seen other 240Hz monitors with fast response times, this monitor really implements some important gaming features in a way that I have not seen before. So we are going to talk about what gives this monitor the edge over the regular 240Hz TN panel monitors that are available for cheaper, because at 38,000 rupees or $500 you are spending a serious amount on this monitor. Hey guys, I am Siddharth and let's get started. Inside the box, you get a cover for the monitor that has an interesting smell, the manual and warranty papers, this removable control device that we will talk about soon, two plastic panels to make the monitor look super professional, the VESA stand of the monitor, and the base that you have to install it on. We also get the monitor inside the box. Installation of the stand is very easy, and you just have to install it at the back of the monitor while pressing the quick release button, and then install the base of the stand and tighten the screws with your hand. This is a VESA compatible monitor, so you can of course use other stands too. The overall design of the Zowie XL2546K is one of the best that I have seen, and it really tells you that this monitor means serious business. The body and the stand feel really great and look very professional. It has a metal carrying handle which feels very sturdy and is very useful for moving the monitor around, and it also offers most of the adjustments, so you can tilt it, swivel it and adjust its height, and there is also the option to pivot it by 90 degrees, but that is only possible in one direction. This new stand design also lets you position your monitor like the real pros, and I appreciate people who have this kind of dedication to gaming. The monitor has even bezels around its display, and even though these days we usually find thinner bezels, the one that we have here don't look bad with their clean matte finish, and it actually makes the monitor less fragile. There is no branding visible on the front, and the absence of any visible buttons or LED on the front really gives this monitor a very clean look. The subtle red accents in the pass-through space on the stand and the branding at back also add a very nice character to the overall appearance of this monitor. We don't have any kind of speakers on this monitor, but I don't mind that, and you do have these plastic panels which are easy to install and remove, and you can use these to eliminate glare from any light sources around you, and the included cover can also be used to protect the monitor when not using it. And we finally also have a headphone hanger on the back of the monitor, which is not that strong, but it should still be strong enough to handle your headphones. Controls are really good on this monitor. You have 3 buttons along with a joystick that will let you access the menu and set custom quick settings to the buttons. But the really awesome feature is this puck, which is called S-Switch, and you'd be forgiven to think that this is some kind of a weird mouse, because it has a scroll wheel that even tilts left and right for navigation. You have 3 numbered keys on it, and you can save custom profiles with different settings on them, and the whole thing is just a pleasure to operate. You can set the same settings to these keys but with different brightness levels to adjust that quickly, which is very convenient. But one missed opportunity here was that they could have set the wheel to automatically adjust brightness by default, as it just opens the menu when you do that. At bottom, we have 3 HDMI 2.0 ports, a DisplayPort 1.2, a headphone out port for audio, and the microB USB port which is used for inserting the S-Switch. There is also a Kensington lock, which is great to have on expensive things. The on-screen menu is good, and you can find the different options easily, and you can also customize the quick menu, which is great. Even though we don't have questionably useful gaming features like an on-screen crosshair, a magnifier or a timer, it does have a black equalizer feature which would make the dark parts in games easier to see, which works very well and could help a lot. We also have a color vibrance feature, which could also help in making objects feel more distinguishable in games that don't have a very contrasting color palette like Fortnite. It has a 1080p resolution on its 24.5-inch panel, which is actually a really great combination for a dedicated gaming monitor, because Full HD resolution doesn't look that bad at this size even for reading text, and 27-inch monitors can actually be just too big for competitive gaming, as you need to have everything in your field of vision. Even the powerful GPUs will also struggle to deliver 240 FPS at 1440p or higher resolution, so this monitor really has an ideal combination of refresh rate, size, and resolution for competitive gaming. Now this is a TN panel, so the viewing angles are quite terrible. The contrast also appears to be lower than the typical 1:1000. The colors are also not that great, and the black and grey uniformity is also nothing to write home about. But you are buying this monitor for the response time, which is really good on this monitor, and even during very fast-paced action with a lot of movement on the screen, you are going to see a very sharp image, which is quite important at 240Hz. The overdrive setting is called AMA here, and with it off, the blur is visible on the screen, but the high and premium settings are pretty good and have very minimal overshoot. But I think that the most special feature of this monitor is BenQ's Dynamic Accuracy or DIAC Plus, which is a backlight strobing technique that turns it off and on very quickly while the frame of the screen is changing, and this reduces the motion blur because you don't see the remnants of the previous frame, at least in theory. Now this technique isn't new and we have seen it on other monitors, but what makes this BenQ monitor special is that it has been implemented really well in comparison to other monitors that have this tech. So with other backlight strobing techniques, you may see a lot of doubling of the image on the monitor due to strobe crosstalk, but the DIAC Plus feature achieves the blur reduction with very minimal doubling of images. If you look carefully, it will be visible, but it is very well controlled, and in some cases it is almost not noticeable. There is some image retention at the back of the alien, but the front of the alien is absolutely clear in the UFO tests, and I haven't seen something that is this good with other monitors. Backlight strobing also reduces the brightness on these monitors, but the DIAC Plus premium feature on this particular monitor has a very small effect on the maximum brightness, unlike the dramatic difference that you see in some other monitors. And that is mostly what you are buying this monitor for. At 240Hz with dynamic accuracy and AMA on, you will get a lot of information sent to your brain, and you will see very minimal blur or other artifacts during very quick movements, and it may not be a big difference compared to something like ASUS's 280Hz monitor, which is cheaper and offers better colors, but this difference could give you that slight edge that makes you win in a heated battle of your online games, letting your friends know that you have a bigger penis. Also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with bell icon so you don't miss more discussion on penises in our upcoming video on Cyberpunk 2077. We have a peak brightness of 320 nits on this panel, which isn't that high compared to even the HDR 400 monitors these days, but it kind of makes up for that with its brightness level when DIAC Premium is on. There is also a utility from Blurbusters that lets you tune the phase of the strobe, and even though in our tests we got the best results at stock settings, it is good to have this option for advanced users. One notable missing feature compared to the eLNB Sync monitor that I reviewed recently is that the backlight strobing doesn't work along with adaptive sync. So even though we do have FreeSync on this monitor and this is also G-Sync compatible, it is not going to work along with blur reduction. So if you can't get consistent 240 FPS, then it can be a problem because you may get frame tearing. But this monitor is focused for esports, where you should be able to get 240 FPS at 1080p, and in non-competitive titles, you don't really need to keep DIAC on. So the gaming experience with this monitor is pretty much top level. We found that playing games like Rainbow Six Siege was really amazing, and everything was very smooth and very clear, and the monitor really shines during the quick movements in games, and the input lag on this monitor is also very low, so everything feels very responsive. You may also be able to play very well even with an inferior 144Hz monitor, but if you have got the skill to take advantage of its higher refresh rate and the clearer image, then you will really get an advantage over your opponents with inferior monitors. So overall, the BenQ Zowie XL2546K is made for a very specific purpose of high-level competitive gaming, and in that area it performs extremely well. This can actually be an overkill for casual gamers, but if you are serious about competitive gaming, then this monitor is really great. In addition to its 240Hz refresh rate, which will help you a lot, it also has an amazing implementation of backlight strobing, which will reduce the blur without compromising on the brightness or introducing heavy doubling of images. Its design is really good, the controls are great, the input lag is very low, and it really can be the best monitor for gaming, barring the halo products like Asus's 360Hz monitor, which are much more expensive. For general media consumption, it is of course not great, but it's also not terrible after you do some adjustments. So if you want a top tier gaming monitor for esports, this monitor will deliver extremely well. For the price of rupees 38,000 rupees or $500 US, the Zowie XL2546K isn't cheap, but if you want the maximum advantage over your opponents, this monitor will give that to you. I couldn't get the 25-inch version of the Asus's 280Hz monitor that I reviewed recently, but you can check out my review of the 27-inch variant, and I think that the VG259QM could really be a great alternative to this monitor if you have plans to do anything in addition to competitive gaming. It may not have the best backlight strobing implementation, but it is also extremely good for gaming, and it offers response time that can compete with TN panels if not beat them. So I'll have links to buy these monitors in the video description. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it or a thumbs down if you disliked it. Let me know your thoughts about this monitor in the comment section below. Subscribe with bell, follow me on socials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.